On today's show, we're going to dive into the world of online dating for teens, guys. We're going to explore some challenges, some opportunities, and some best practices from a father's perspective. As we embark on this journey on today's episode, let us always be mindful to remember the wisdom in Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the pattern of the world, but please be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Join us today as we discuss how to guide our children with love, understanding, and faith in dating in this digital age. It is my honor. I had this guest on a previous show that I did, and I had to bring him back. His dad wisdom, I think, is so valuable to this conversation. And so he's back as my expert today. Welcome, my guest, Delonso Barnes.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm great. You?
Good.
Good,
Thank
good,
you.
good.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm not going to traumatize you, but this is, I think, a conversation that I don't think parents think enough of.
Absolutely.
I think that dads don't get enough credit for being able to offer wisdom in this space.
100% agree with you on that.
And I believe because it is so dangerous, and I believe there are so many things that are vying for our kids' attention in the online dating space that I feel like a dad's perspective is so important.
I'm glad to be here to offer that perspective.
Yes.
And, here's one thing, and then, of course, I'll let you
No.
But-
Be my guest.
like this, my perspective is not going to be the macho dad, the man, like, oh, man, you got this many followers. Oh, all these. No, this is practical in trying to raise a young man to be a great man. So that's where my perspective is going to come in. So a lot of times the guy's father's perspective on dating isn't as valued because we're thought of in the macho sense.
Right.
Yeah. So, but this is my perspective. It's totally going to be about raising a responsible man. So.
Okay, so let's get in, guys. So, Delonso, what would you say? I know that culturally things look a lot different nowadays.
Absolutely.
Do you think from a dad's perspective, would you prefer son and or daughter to embrace more in-person dating for the first date or just first date online?
I would say in person. I would prefer meeting someone in person instead of finding people online. Like that's my perspective on that. Like I even move that towards being as an adult. It's better to be out there to actually meet people in true environments because online is not a true environment. So,
1000% agree with that. I don't think that sometimes the kids don't think about the challenges and the risk.
They absolutely do not.
They don't. From a dad's perspective, what do you think some of those risks are for dating online for teens?
All right. So this goes back to with my oldest son, 19, and this is where he is right now. But this goes back to when he first got online just playing video games, is me and his mom being cautious of who you're online with. Because you don't know who you're truly online with. Like some of the guys were truly his friends, but anytime I either heard a voice or saw a name pop up on the screen that I didn't know, I instantly went to him like, who is this? Where do you know him from? That kind of thing. And this is what you would think be the innocence of just playing video games, but you don't know the motive of that stranger on the other side of that keyboard. So you go to dating now online, and we've heard the horror stories of what you thought you were going to meet versus what you wind up meeting and this goes beyond just the catfishing, but the danger. So with my son now, like I, ask him questions. He's telling me what's going on with him as far as just meeting people online. And that's why I go back to, it's better to just try in that sense of getting out your comfort zone and just being out there in person to meet people versus just online where it's more comfortable and it's easier, but you don't know, you're getting that person's representative. So of course it's going to be all peaches and cream. But to really get to know somebody, you need to be in person, I feel, because online we can have a great vibe, but when we're in person, that's when I really know
Oh,
if
yeah,
we're meshing.
definitely. So, what wisdom can you give to parents about monitoring their kids' online activity without necessarily invading
Invade.
their privacy? Because when we were growing up, we had no privacy.
Yeah, there was no privacy.
This generation is
no closed doors and all
so
that.
we don't really know.
Yeah.
We can't really relate, but in the generation we're in, these parents support privacy for their kids. And so how would you how are what are some things you can share for them parents to do that without invading the kids' privacy?
It's developing. One is everything always starts from in the beginning with your kids, like establishing that trust between each other of just being truthful with me and letting them understand what your role is. Like a lot of times the kids feel like we're just invading their space. No, I'm trying to make sure you're safe.
Right.
So like it's establishing that early on. Like that's what I did with my oldest, establishing, I'm trying to make sure who this person is who this person is supposed to be. I established that early with him so him being aware of the dangers out there and him knowing me trying to find out things is just to keep him safe and not just being nosy. So you have to start early. But let's say if you had a teen now and you didn't establish that, now's the time to have that conversation. I'm just trying to keep you safe. Tell them about the things that happen. Tell them about what you saw in the news and say, hey, what are you doing? Like ask them what they're doing to make sure they're keeping safe, that kind of thing. And try to have those conversations and develop that trust if you haven't already of just, my goal is to keep you safe. And I know you want to be safe. Let's work on this together to make sure you're getting the best experience you can at dating online. It's about communication.
Absolutely. Parents, let's make sure too, that's a very pivotal point. Make sure that when you're having these conversations with your kids, I think it's a little bit harder to establish that trust if you do it when you're mad at them.
Exactly.
If you're angry or they didn't work your last nerves or this the one moment you finally gonna ask them what they doing about online. Your tone is important in trying to establish that conversation. So make sure that you're mindful of that when you're doing it. Now, Delonso, one of the things I did, I did as an excuse all the time. Well, mama, all my friends doing it. Well, so as a parent in this generation, how do you navigate that peer pressure space if you would prefer them to do in person, but they say all their friends are dating online? How do you navigate that with your kids?
Well, first, I won't say, hey, if all your friends jump off a bridge, would you jump? Because they would absolutely jump.
That's scary, but true.
True, yes. They would absolutely jump.
Yes.
So
yes.
Well, just ask them, are you an individual yourself? Like, do you think for yourself? Like, and once again, going back to your tone and asking them these type things, like, try to actually get to know them. Like,
right.
Like, so all your friends are online dating. Do you feel that's best for you? Why do you feel that's best for you?
Right.
And not allow them to just use my friends are doing it. Try to get to know why do you feel it's best for you?
Yeah.
Definitely. Maybe it's best for them for whatever reason, but for you, why do you feel it's best?
And it's so important. That's an important point because I think sometimes the kids don't realize most people online send their representative.
Mm-hmm.
It's never really true to them.
No.
No one gets on there, I'm thinking about females. We don't necessarily get on there with no makeup, no this, no that, because again, it's our representative. And I think that's why it's so important for them to understand what you just said, because 9 times 10, it may not be who you think you're talking to, that you are. I still can't. What's the doggone show that comes on? It blows my mind. Is it Catfish?
Catfish. Yep.
How do people get tricked? Like, I'm like, what do you mean? You've been in a relationship with somebody for 2 years online and you ain't never met him. The young man who was the professional athlete.
Oh, yes.
Yes. At first, I was so hard on him. Then I was like, but they are really convinced they're in these relationships. And so I think that's why, again, this conversation is so important about navigating that space, because I can't imagine not seeing someone that I'm supposed to be dating.
So one of the things is just like a spammer. Like they try to earn your trust kind of thing. They're going to say the right things depending upon what their motive is. But those people get in those relationships because the person knows this person is vulnerable right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to say all the right things. So once I get here and then here, it doesn't matter. Like, I got you. So like where they're starting to do things for you and they've never met you. Like, so like they're aware of that, but you're not. You go into it being innocent. And then the more, obviously you got to realize you're sharing information about yourself.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So you're sharing this so they can now just play off that. It's like the gypsy or the mind reader. They have the information on you. So like they're feeding you the questions. By you answering this question, now I know how to get you to do what I need you to do. And that's exactly what they're doing. And the danger of that is they get you to do things that you wouldn't do if you met this person in person. First of all, it would have already been over.
Absolutely.
It would have already been over. But, yes, I can see how once you've been tricked enough emotionally to go into a relationship for 2 years, this person is now, you said, I'm lonely. I wish I had somebody to talk to. Okay, I'll fill that void.
I saw the system do that on one of my social media platforms the other day, and it said, based on what you look at, these are the things that we think you'll like. I'm like, dude, you don't know me.
Right.
So then I had to go in and undo what they had done. So like you said, that's important. If you're sharing all of your information, they are almost like building a person for you. And the scary part, I think, that a lot of the kids don't think about, Delonso, there have been so many cases where people thought they were in, like, a female thinking she's in a relationship with a male.
Exactly.
And a male thinking he's in a relationship with a female. And it's been just the opposite.
Right.
Like, it's been whole nother different situations. And so I think that's one of the things that parents need to take it more seriously about getting involved in those online situationships is what
right.
Because it's not a friendship and it's not a relationship.
No.
It's a situationship.
Well, with that, one of the things that we do as parents is remember when you were young and your mom was helping you or your dad helping you with your homework and they would get upset with you when you can't, because 2 + 2 is 4. How are you not getting this?
Right.
Another thing we get upset about is when we don't know what to do. So now we're mad at you for not doing the right thing because I don't know how to actually navigate you through this.
Right.
So what parents will do with this online thing, and if a parent isn't, tech savvy, they don't know how to approach you about it.
I was gonna say, go take a class.
Yeah, exactly. But so what we'll do is we'll ask the wrong questions. We'll be forceful to just do what I say, not trying to understand what's going on because I don't know what's going on.
Right.
So we don't get down to the bottom of it. And then of course kids are gonna get defensive.
Right.
So they're gonna tell you what you need to hear to get you out their face, and then they're gonna still be going down this rabbit hole. So as parents, we have to be acknowledged when we're not truly understanding what's going on. Like there's some parents, I don't know what this online dating thing is. Let me understand, educate myself so I can educate my kid and I can be aware of what my kid's doing. That's what I had to do. Like even when my youngest was playing video games back in the day, I didn't know. I was like, I had to ask him, what's this J-Rock 9388? Why did that keep popping up? He said, oh, that's my friend online. I had no idea. I never played video games online. So I had to then educate myself. I started reading articles and everything to try to understand that. Same thing with what is it called when they do the LOL and all the different letters?
Yeah, the emojis.
Yeah.
I had to do a whole show about that.
Yeah, I had to understand. I had to learn that. So that I could then know when I see it. So that's the kind of thing. Parents just have to educate themselves whatever shortcomings you have, educate yourselves. There's a YouTube video, or anything you need to know, just pull it up so that you can better help equip your kids. Just because you don't know something doesn't mean give you the right to not teach your kids.
Absolutely. It's funny you said that. That was one of the things that I was going to ask you about. What are some of the potential red flags to look out for? A lot of you parents go look at that episode that I did. Some of those emojis, you think
Absolutely.
it's one thing, it's something totally different.
Yep.
And that's one of the red flags that you can look out for. What do you think are some of the other red flags that they can look out for? Now, you already said, listen, I didn't recognize that name. Who is that? I think that's another thing. If you see something that's unfamiliar, call it out. What are some other things that you think parents and or teens can look out for when they're online?
All right. So for parents, like for me, obviously I don't knock on my boys' door when I come in their room. So I just walk in the room, and
that's old school right there.
Yeah. I just walk in the room. And I'll just stand there. Like they can be not doing anything. I'll just stand there. And what I'm really doing is just gauging what's going on in here. I try to see if they try to flip their phone or something.
Yeah.
Do they hit pause or do they turn it off completely?
Right. Because there is a difference.
Yeah, there is a difference. Like my oldest, he always just push pause. He'll take his head set off and just like, what's up?
Yeah.
My youngest, he'll just push pause, or he has two phones. He's not Kevin Gates, but he has two phones. And if he turns it off, I said, what's going on? Like, but I don't hit him with the, demanding. I kind of just, what's going on? Like, you ain't have to stop the video. I always say, you don't have to stop the video when I come in. Just keep it rolling, that kind of thing. But just be aware of what they're doing. And also I establish with them at any moment, Dad can pop up in here. So let me do what I'm supposed to be doing, because at any moment he can pop up in here. And same thing with their phones. Like obviously not my oldest now, but at any moment I can say, let me see your phone. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Like, and do whatever. So they are aware of that. And for kids is trust your gut.
Yeah.
Trust your gut. Any situation feels funny or doesn't make sense to you, pull back.
Well, you said if it sounds too good to be true.
Absolutely.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Or if it's asking you to do something shady.
Yeah.
If you have an online friend and your curfew is 9 and they're telling you to come out at 10, mm-hmm. and I had this talk with my son, they're willing for you to get in trouble. That's not your friend. Anybody that's willing for you to get in trouble, it's not your friend. They're supposed to have your back. Mm-hmm. So like anyone that's asking you to do something that's going to cause you to get in trouble, and definitely anything illegal that can get you arrested, kind of things, like that's not a friend of yours. So be cautious of that. And someone who's asking you to come out late at night and you don't know them, mm-hmm. now it's different. Like, your homegirl, your homeboy, y'all been hanging for years and y'all sneaking out. That's one thing. Mm-hmm. But for a total stranger to ask you to come out late at night or sneak out so nobody knows where you are, that's a red flag.
I think another one too, piggybacking on what you're saying, is if you've already given them so much information and then they start giving you all these mysterious solutions to specifically yours. Oh, well, you need to be in the house by 9. Your mom just strict. Your mom, and making it seem like there's a solution that's better than what your parents do. Oh, you won't get caught. I'll have you back in time. Don't worry about it. So like I said, just doing even what's contrary to what your parents have taught you. And that's one of the things for me personally. So that's why I prefer in person, because your parents, I know they don't believe it, but your parents can see stuff.
Right.
That don't.
Yes.
Deborah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I have so growing up, I had this friend, and he was cool with me. Like we hung out and all that type of stuff. Never did anything criminal. Mm-hmm. Never. It was just hung out. My mom couldn't stand him.
Wow.
She allowed me to hang out with him because, we never did anything crazy. Mm-hmm. So, and this is me being naive. And that's why I always try to help my sons to stuff. So it wasn't until, this is middle school. So I get to high school. It wasn't until I finished high school and I look back on that relationship that I had with him. He was a drug dealer.
Oh, wow.
My mom sensed something bad with him. Like he got locked up and all that. But I didn't see it because we never did anything. So I was always that kid when people hung out with me, they weren't going to do anything criminal. But like my mom saw it. I didn't see it. Like, so, I was the safe kid to hang out. Everybody loved for their kids to hang out with me because I wasn't going to do anything and they know the wrath of my mom.
Yeah.
But parents have to be that way with their kids now. Like, and try to encourage the in-person type thing. Like when I go to the movies and I see a bunch of teenagers hanging out, I'm thankful for that because
Me too.
because they're in a safer environment than if they're in the streets. Two, that means their parents drop them off. So like, and hopefully the parents are doing anything and not just the literal just drop off and go, but who you with? There they go right there. Okay, wait, who's this one?
Exactly.
Like that kind of thing. Like we still have to be protected. It's not being overly protected. It's just being a parent.
Yeah.
Know who your kids are hanging out with. Like when my youngest son is talking and he mentions a kid's name I never met or heard of, I was like, who's that? It's like, what you guys just met? Blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, he's into this and that kind of stuff. You gonna invite him to your birthday party? Like, I get to meet the parents. Like, first of all, parenting is a 24-hour job. There's no time off. So you always need to be involved in your kids with who they're seeing. And once again, it's all about their approach.
Yep.
It's all about their approach.
That's one of the reasons why I'm about to have so many people probably mad at me for saying this. Mm-hmm. Well, no, because I think we have chosen to be such an online community. But I feel like in some ways we have handicapped this generation to have social skills face to face. We don't. Back in our time, and I'm saying it like we're old, but it wasn't too long ago, but, hanging out at the mall, like you said, with our friends, going to the movies. Mm-hmm. My husband and I was just talking about how we used to get on them roller skates,
right.
And used to get it in. We could talk about how we used to be parked outside of Crystals and everybody hanging out and talking. But I think that because we get all of our food offline, we shop online, everything is online, that I think in some ways we've crippled this generation. And it's kind of a little frustrating because it's like then when you try to get them in social spaces, they don't know how to function because they so used to doing this, and so I always say, man, let me tell you, me and Mick went out to dinner, this is probably about a month ago, and I'm seeing people, I guess they were supposed to be dating. They were on their cell phones the whole entire time. And so what are some ways that you think, it doesn't have to be anything big, what are some little things that we can try to do to help this generation be sociable again in person?
Well, first of all, it's always the little things that matter. So like with my boys, when we go out to eat, I have them order their own food. So that's a tiny thing you may overlook. I mean, like even like with Dylan, my youngest, like since he was 6, since he was able to speak what he wanted and read what he wanted, I have him order, because in the beginning they would be like, I have the chicken sandwich. They'll be like, what? Like, no, speak to her. You order what you want, and then I'll have them, like if I'm paying with cash, I have them pay for whatever they're doing, because kids now don't know how to do that interaction thing, and we'll do things for them. So now when they're an adult, because I've seen adults who don't know how to properly do basic things.
That's true.
So you have to just allow your kids to do simple things. Like if you have a young kid, allow them to take over the transaction. Like even give them cards, show them how to do certain things so that they understand how to interact with a stranger, how to money, because my son would give $20 for something that costs $10 and then walk away thinking the transaction is done.
Oh, yeah. Seriously?
Yeah, like he just, and then walk away like you're, like you have to, those are little things, and you don't learn that online.
Yeah.
Like, I just hit this button and I just purchase whatever I need. So it's those little things, and challenge them to do more things.
Yeah.
Like, not just, hey, get off of the computer, go outside. No, like put them in environments where they'll be around other people, that kind of thing. Let them see you in environments and interacting with people, kind of. So don't always give them an outlet. Let's say if you're going to a cookout and it's like, hey, you want to go? No, have them go. Mm-hmm. And have them mingle around. And then if they talk to somebody, it's like, hey, did you, who's that? Because my kids would never ask. And guys are real bad at this, of not asking, like find out the name of the person you was talking to. I can talk to a guy for 12 hours at a barbecue and not know his name, but like challenge him, like, well, won't you find out his name? That kind of thing. Like, so it's just having them get out in the world kind of thing, because these are social skills they will need as adults.
Yep.
Everything can't be just done online. As much as we want to hide behind it, eventually your kid has to come out. And I've seen adults who don't know how to function in the real world.
Well, I think some parents have made it a babysitting service too.
Oh, absolutely.
If I just stick the computer in front. But we do have a generation though that are, I think the word we used to use and I was coming up was introverts and extroverts. And I think that everybody's just grouped now.
Right.
When it comes to online, everybody just look the same. There's no difference. But it's like at some point, dating online, I'm not saying you can't be committed, but I just feel like they'll have to work harder and they won't necessarily see. I know some people have done it, Delonso. I mean, I couldn't have. Let me just stop beating around the bush. I don't think I could have married someone that I solely dated online, And what about going around their family? What about bringing them around your family? Like you were saying, invite them to the cookout. There was a saying my pastor used to say years ago, go to the cookout, because you go to the cookout, you're going to see every person you getting ready to marry in that one person.
Right.
And then I just think online, again, everything is just so not real. You can make it. There's a show we were looking at, Paradise, and that's not real life. But I think that we have created this culture where we've made online dating, you can make it look like what you want to look like. You can make him or her sound like what you want them to sound like. And that's not really dating. That's really you dating you.
Right.
And now I don't think they think about it that way, but how do we tackle that? Because we're going even deeper into this AI culture.
Well, first of all, I think we need to realize the online dating thing can be a good thing to enhance your relationship if you have distance between you. Let's say like, yes. But those meetups and getting to know somebody in person is vital. I don't think people should because people will discount the whole city, like, oh, there's no guys in Atlanta or whatever.
Yes.
So now I got to, no, you just haven't been out. There are plenty of places that you haven't been to in whatever city you're in, unless you're in an extremely small space. Then even then you should move, because if you're bigger than your city, if there's no one in your city, then you should move to a different city. But we feel that we're taking the easy route. Online is just the easy route. It's convenient and that's it. It's not like it's better. It's just convenient. The real getting to know people is going out to have coffee and things like that. But let's say you get to go out and have coffee with someone, you actually get to meet them.
Yeah.
Now, if we both have busy schedules, doing the online part maybe work then. And then say, hey, in another month or two, we get together and hang out again. That's different. But to solely only date someone online, I just don't advise it. And I feel convenient isn't always better. It always costs. Trust me, it's going to cost you. Because nothing worse than establishing a 2-year relationship with someone online and you guys get together. And it's like, ain't no way I can sit there and look at this person every day. And now you've involved all this emotion, feeling, time, money possibly, and now you're in person. It's like, no.
You know what I kind of equate online dating to? Back when we were growing up and people used to be in those arranged marriages, and they didn't know anything about the person. They didn't. You like this? No, I don't like that. Well, we didn't talk about that. It was just like you said, a convenience type thing. But then when you think about so many people don't even want to be in committed relationships now, I feel like sometimes online dating has created this web.
Ooh.
And I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this show, because I don't even think parents and grandparents understand that it's important to untangle that web. And I don't even think, too, they don't even understand how it's causing, like you said, people to devalue the relationship. I like when my friends can call me and we can talk about things, and what Lord knows, what if the internet goes down? I don't even think they think about that, Delonso.
Right.
What if there's no more, you know, any of that available? What will they do?
Right. Well, it's funny you mentioned your call from your girlfriend. Just imagine, like, some people are just online dating only. They're not
Yeah.
even talking on the phone. It's
Yes.
just typing. Their relationship is just simply messaging each other.
Yeah.
Like some of the people who are catfished never even spoke to the person that they're supposed to be in a relationship with. So, and let me just say, I'm not bashing online
Oh, not
dating.
at all.
I'm
Not at
not
all.
bashing it at all. But if you want to get to a solid foundation, your foundation is your start, or what you're building on, it's got to be in person, like to build that foundation. And then everything else you do off that builds onto it, but you have to have a foundation. Online dating and not meeting someone and your relationship is solely based on clicking buttons on a keyboard is not a solid foundation to
You
start a
got that
relationship
right.
on.
You got that right.
Right. So
Yeah, I'm cringing because it's so big now.
yes.
And I don't know if it'll get smaller.
No, what concerns me is like the technology we have now. Imagine what will be 10 years from now.
Ooh.
And the scary part for me, not just that, is that we're having relationships without even meeting the person. Eventually, we'll just have relationships just with ourselves. There won't be any interaction. Like with more and more technology, the less social skills will develop because we never have to actually meet anyone. It's like I think about my sons don't know how to read in cursive. That was a thing we had to learn in
Yes,
cursive.
we
So
did.
like, just imagine where we're gonna be, where there's like basic things they're not even doing anymore because there's no need to sign the back of a check. Your check is automatically deposited.
You take a
things like
picture
that.
of it.
You take
Yeah.
a picture of it. So, where we will be in the future with those little personable things, like those things are going to be gone. So that's the scary part for me. And less people are going out to meet people. It's more online. Like someone whole weekend can be just online
Yeah.
and never go out and meet anybody. And I feel we'll have more of that. Like there needs to be a campaign of get outside. Like when we had the COVID, now everybody was happy to be outside. Now I want people outside to actually meet people, to mingle with people.
And see, for me, I want people to go back to the malls.
Yes.
Go back to the stores, go back out, because if we spend so much time on online activities, skating rinks, then those things could potentially close down for financial reasons. And there we go. We back online dating ourselves again. I can't shake that when we said that earlier in the show. It's like, and again, I'm just like you. I'm not against online dating.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are people who have genuinely said they have established some fantastic relationships out of that. But it's almost like, again, you're creating you. You're creating you who you want to date, and in turn is the best version of you. And I think when you date in person, you bring in, it needs to be some, yes, you need some camaraderie.
Right.
You need somebody that piques you and grows you up. And I think that's why in person is just underrated in this season. So any final words? Anything you'd like to leave the parents or the teens with about the online dating?
Well, with the parents, once again, try to learn your kid and try to establish with your kids why you're like, try to go ahead and get rid of the whole being nosy, like parents are just nosy. It's like, no, my goal, my job as a parent is to keep you safe, and I will do that to the fullest. So have that talk with your kids. And for kids, be careful. Like it's trust your gut, trust your parents. Like, especially if you got a parent that's really in your corner, trust your gut, your parents, and use common sense. That's the biggest thing. That's another thing. And that's a whole nother topic, is common sense. This generation is not picking on the kids. It's because you guys have so much online things and all that. I've run into young adults, men in their 20s, early 20s, that don't truly have common sense and critical thinking skills.
That's it.
It's the critical thinking skills and the online thing. Everything's just spelled out for you. You don't have to search for anything. It's right there for you. Whereas meeting in person, I have to ask questions. We have to try to get everything is right there.
Right.
I can just look at all your photos and know what you're into and all that stuff instead of me just asking you face to face. So it's a scary new world. It's fantastic at the same time with all the technology, but there's something about that in-person skills. You have to have it, and you just can't get it. You can't learn that online. You have to experience it.
Man, you gave me some good food for thought. Because, guys, I know navigating this digital world and online dating can really be so challenging. But with God's guidance, let us please help our teens, our children, and even you, some of you adults who are choosing to do, online dating. Please make safe choices. Please use your discernment. Listen, you do not have to be super duper spiritual to say something doesn't feel right. If it doesn't feel right, then don't do it. Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us to trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all of our ways, we got to submit to Him so that He can help us make our path straight. And so it is my hope, it is my prayer, it is my everything that you support your children on this journey if they choose to do online dating. Now, I wish a lot of you guys would stop letting them make so many choices so early about dating. Foster open communication with them. Parents, listen, it is okay to still set boundaries with your children. And it's really okay to even give them a foundation of faith. It is still your responsibility to help your children understand what it means to have meaningful and healthy relationships, whether you decide to do it in person or online. All right, guys, until next time, stay strong, stay connected, and keep your heart and your homes filled with love and faith. I'll see you next time.